Bert's poor whistle. It was a beautiful morning on the island of Sodor. All the engines were having a busy job, tooting their whistles and horns, pushing and pulling trains to make everything go right on schedule. Except for Bert, the small blue engine, who was sent to Arlesburgh with Mike and Rex, the small engines. Bert had to have his whistle repaired. It was so wonky, and he couldn't work properly until it was soon mended. Workmen had finished Mike's repair, and was now finishing Rex's troubles. "There you go, Rex," said the fitter. "Now go and be really useful." "Thank you, Mr. Farrier," whistled Rex. See you when your whistle is mended," he called Bert as he steamed out of the works. "Toodles," Bert called back. One of the workmen carried the crate of Bert's new whistle. But as he slipped on the oil, he fell onto the ground, and the whistle was thrown onto Bert's funnel. "Ow!" exclaimed Bert. "That hurts." "Sorry," said the workman, and he picked up the whistle again. But he didn't notice it was dented, and neither did the rest of the workmen, who propped it back in place. Soon Bert's new whistle was mended, and the small controller arrived. "Today, the railway inspector will be visiting my railway," he said. "I want all of you to work your best and be really useful." "Yes, sir," puffed Bert excitedly, and he set off to collect some daytime goods train. As Bert was shunted into the freight cars, he saw the railway inspector approaching him and Jock. "Well, Jock," said the inspector, "you and your coaches look spotless and perfectly in good order." Jock smiled and gracefully puffed away. Then the inspector turned to Bert. Bert inspected him to be pleased too, as he had just returned from Arlesburgh Works. But the railway inspector was surveying Bert for a long while, and he started to worry. "Well, Bert, you're quite dapper," frowned the inspector. "I'm sorry to say this, but there is something wrong with your whistle." "What do you mean, sir?" asked Bert. "It's dented and loose," answered the inspector. "You must go back to Arlesburgh Works to have it fixed." Bert could not believe it. He just had his whistle repaired, but now it wasn't anymore. He was upset. As the inspector walked away, Bert puffed sadly back to Arlesburgh Works. But Bert had an idea. "If I had to deliver my train first," he thought, "then I will go back to Arlesburgh Works to get my whistle fixed again. That will be right for me to have some time to go there." So Bert puffed along the line, pulling his goods train. He was taken to Osdale to unload the fruits and vegetables. Everywhere he went, the other engines passed by, whistling hello to him, but Bert didn't whistle back. He knew he couldn't whistle at all because he was busy focusing on his work, so he had time to go back to Arlesburgh Works. Soon he arrived to finish his deliveries. While the workers unloaded the fruits and vegetables, Bert uncoupled from his train and puffed onto the turntable, and off back to Arlesburgh Works. When he finally arrived, his fitter was surprised to see him back. "What happened to your whistle?" he asked. Bert told him all that happened that day. The fitter frowned. The whistle must have been damaged here. Then he turned to one of the workmen. Nathan, did you damage the whistle at all when you gave it to Bert? He asked sternly. The workman sighed and admitted to slipping on the oil and dropping the whistle. Bert wasn't very cross. He was pleased that it was an accident, and the fitter didn't get him into trouble on purpose. At last, Bert was fitted with a new whistle. The railway inspector, arrived. Ah, now that's much better, Bert, smiled the inspector. Bert was very happy.